Tim Shovers here, producer of 755 Forever. So I'll give you a heads up, a programming note going into this unusual episode. 10 minutes into taping on Sunday evening, we found out live that Ronald Acuña Jr. season is over due to a torn ACL. So that is why the episode ends abruptly. However, wanted to play for you reaction from David and Eric, and also they examined the play where Acuña Jr. went down on the bases in Pittsburgh. Have a great rest of your holiday weekend and enjoy the show.
All right. Welcome back to 755 Forever. I'm David O'Brien, Braves writer at The Athletic. I hope you guys are doing all right. I'm with my co-host, Eric O'Flaherty, former Braves reliever. What's happening, Eric?
What's up, Dave?
Well, not much, man. Busy day for the Bravos. They avoided a sweep at Pittsburgh and had the kind of offense that we got used to last year. 2 home runs in an inning. Matt Olson hit one in the river. I think he's one of only a few visiting players who've hit multiple homers into that river, and he's only been in the National League, of course, for a couple of years, 3 years. So it was impressive. But the news of the day, obviously, this update on Ronald Acuña Jr. is brought to you by Gerber and Holder, attorneys who only represent injured workers, sponsoring this injury report. Just like these Braves, if you've been hurt on the job, go to www.gerberholderlaw.com. That's GERBERHOLDER law.com. Injury report on Acuña, and it's up in the air right now. You'd like to fill it in and be more certain, but there's no certainty right now because it was a holiday weekend in Pittsburgh, like it is everywhere else. And Snit said they couldn't get an MRI done, which I believe him. I mean, it's a Sunday, holiday weekend, a Sunday. There's not a whole lot of doctors sitting around waiting to do MRIs, on a Sunday. So rather than probably take him an hour away or whatever and have to and send him on a commercial flight home or whatever, they just figured they'd wait until they got home to Atlanta to do it. I think he's doing it tonight. That's what Acuña said, that he's getting it done tonight and he'll have the results tomorrow. But whatever, we'll find out tomorrow. And I don't know. We were talking about this off camera. With Acuña, you just don't know. I mean, when he blew his ACL out in Miami in 21, it didn't look as bad as when he had the minor ACL strain at Boston in 2018 as a rookie. Because when he did that in Boston, I thought, okay, he just tore his ACL, his PCL, everything else is gone. I thought he shredded his knee.
Yeah, I did too.
And that was just a contusion of the knee, contusion of the back, and a minor sprain of the knee. They thought he might be back in a couple of weeks. Of that, it ended up being a month. And he said today, post-game, he said there was no pop like there was in Miami. He didn't feel any pop. And he thought it was like the one in Boston. He thinks he'll miss about that much time. That's just guessing, I'm sure, but that was the kind. He said it wasn't a lot of real pain.
What did he, because he was laying on the ground, what did he say he did feel?
Well, that was painful, he said initially, but then it started going away real fast.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, you saw how he jammed his knee to plant. The irony of this, or the coincidence of this, is that when he hurt the surgically repaired knee in spring training, it was just irritation of meniscus, is what they said. And he went out and got the second opinion from Elatrash, the surgeon in LA, confirmed irritation of the meniscus. That was it. But when he did that, remember, he was caught in a rundown. It's February 29th, caught in a rundown in a split squad spring training game between second and third bases. Planted with his right foot, planted with his left, went back and forth a few times, and you're like cringing when he's doing it because he's putting a lot of, a fast guy like that, a strong guy, he's putting a lot of torque on that.
Yeah.
Today, he did it between second and third again on a base for anything while he was going to steal third base because he was timing the catcher who saw him through a couple of soft ones back to the pitcher. Yeah. So he was going to take off as soon as he let enough of those lollipop throws go. Well, this is the one time the catcher actually threw it harder back to the pitcher, he said. So he decided against it, and he planted. And you and I noticed the same thing. He planted with his left foot, and turned his back to the pitcher to go back to second. Now, I don't know if he was just caught between steps, But normally you would think you would
You'd
push
plant
with
with
your
your right,
dominant
yeah.
with your dominant foot and while looking at the pitcher, right?
Yeah, you'd say squared up to where the ball's at, yeah.
So I don't know if that's a sign of, is he favoring the right? You're just, in his head, he's thinking, let's avoid planting with that right knee again if we can. I don't know. Maybe. Because otherwise, I
Yeah.
don't know why he would do that, why he would turn with his back to the pitcher to go back to second base.
It's strange for me watching him because, I mean, he's so fast. But since he's come back, I've watched on, like when he's got to slow down fast on fly balls and things like that. If he's getting toward, if a wall's closing in on him, something down the foul line, I've always noticed he still looks kind of like ginger, with that quick deceleration.
Yeah.
Like he's favoring something. That hasn't looked smooth. I mean, I feel like that when I have to slow down fast and I'm looking at the fastest guy.
Yeah.
One of the best in the game. And it's always weird for me and kind of catches my eye because I know that feeling where your knees just don't feel like they're firing right. So I've kind of just kept an eye on that. But I also think about, he's just, when your hips rotate and you're rotating a ton, you put a lot of torque into your knees. And he has probably the fastest hips in the game, and that's his front knee, that left one. So, I mean, there's so many things that could be contributing to it, but I hope it's nothing. I mean, I hope it's just like it was in Boston, where it's kind of scary looking, but not a big deal.
Yeah, he was younger then. He was 5 years younger then, and amazing recovery then. He's taken a little bit of a beating since then. For a guy who's only 25, he's had a lot of injuries. Most of them are little nagging things, but a lot of these knee things. Remember, he also had one where he crossed first base at Truist Park, real similar to Boston, not as violent, but he fell down that one too. And we thought, here we go. He got up and was in the lineup the next day, if I'm not mistaken, on that one. He came out of the game, was in the lineup the next day on that one. So you just can't tell with Acuña. I mean, this one, he said they put him on the 10-day IL. I've not seen it announced yet, because they don't normally do that until the next day when they make the move and the person they call up arrives. But he said they put him on the 10-day IL, which would make sense. I mean, they're not going to risk anything with him. And just from the way he went down, it's obviously he was in pain.
Yeah. As valuable as he is, if you're laying on the ground grabbing something like that, you could say you feel as good as you want or you're not worried about it. But we're probably going to play it pretty safe with you.
When they have to send the two trainers out there and the manager goes out there and you have to be kind of assisted off the field. He was on his own power, but he was limping really, really severely. And he had to stop at one point and kind of gather himself, before he kept going. And he pointed to his knee on the outside of the knee, pointed to the trainer, said this is where it is. And then at that point, he kind of jumped around on his right one a little bit, is almost to test it and go, no, it's fine.
Yeah, he probably had some PTSD there a little bit too, like you feel something similar or, I mean, I bet it shook him up just in general, because I'm sure you go to not again, as soon as something like that happens, you're thinking, holy shit, I got 18 months of rehab or whatever the rehab time is on an ACL, but it probably took him back to that place when he first felt it.
And he said after the game, he's frustrated because of all the stuff that goes on with the knee. He said, I think he meant both knees, and he hopes this is not a severe one. But he said, it's really frustrating. But this is also, he fouled a ball off this one in Miami, came out of a game there off the left knee like last month. So
yeah, that's random.
From groan-worthy dad jokes to patching up skin knees, your dad is one of a kind. This Father's Day, give him a gift that is guaranteed to take him to his happy place. Omaha Steaks. Order mouth-watering gift packages starting at just $89 when you go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code FOREVER at checkout. Each package is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. Show your dad the love he deserves with a gift as unforgettable as he is. Visit omahasteaks.com, promo code FOREVER at checkout.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You have a big win. You needed this win, obviously, to avoid being swept by a Pittsburgh team that's got some good pitchers, and they didn't even have their two studs going.
Right.
They didn't even pitch, but the ones they did pitch were pretty impressive. And the Braves got two well-pitched games, too, from Lopez and Sale. They're two studs, and they gave no run support at all to Lopez, and he lost yesterday. Sale comes out today and just dealing once again. I mean, you keep waiting for him to have one bad game and get kind of blown up, and it's just not happening. He's given up one or no runs every time he goes out now. His streak of scoreless inning streak stopped at like 27. He gave up a run today, but still, one run today, another 7. He goes 7 innings almost every time. He got 8 strikeouts today after getting 10 or 9 each of his last 3. It's just, he's just having a phenomenal season. And if he doesn't get pitcher of the month, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I looked at it. For May, he's 5-0 in 5 starts with an 0.56 ERA, 32 innings, 45 strikeouts, 2 walks. Oh, yeah, he walked a guy today. So
2 walks.
45 strikeouts and 2 walks in 32 innings. He's got a 0.78 whip and a 193 opponent's batting average in May. 5-0, 0.56 in ERA in 5 starts. He's won 7 straight starts.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's impressive. You know, just it's easy for me to sit here and say all the guy has to do is not walk people and he's going to have a great season. But it's a lot easier said than done. And then if you watch him, he's not just, you know, getting 2-0 and throwing it right down the middle.
Yeah.
He's pitching and he's locating. And with that stuff, the way he's locating and throwing a lot of pitches to a lot of different parts of the plate.
Oh, man.
He's just a nightmare for hitters right now.
Oh, man. We just got information, dude. And I'm going to have to cut this short. Ronald Acuña, MRI, complete tear of the ACL of the left knee.
Holy shit.
Surgery to be determined. He'll miss the remainder of the season, obviously. Wow. I am going to have to wrap this up real quick. I got to write, obviously. So sorry to break that news to you, fans, if you're watching us live on here, but that's bad. I really did not anticipate that for Acuña. So that's going to be a complete tear of the other ACL than the one he had before. I got to write. So sorry, 755 Forever. This episode of 755 Forever is brought to you by Field of Dreams Whiskey. Field of Dreams Whiskey is owned by a collective of current and former Major League Baseball players and is committed to putting out the highest quality and purest expression of the Field of Dreams as we can. Visit drinkfieldofdreams.com to learn more. That's drinkfieldofdreams.com. That's a friend of yours who's got that. Title Clippard, right?
Clippard and Drew Storen.
All right, so we'll talk again, everybody. And again, sorry about the bad news. 755 Forever, we're out.
Everyone is talking about magnesium. It's all you hear about. But why? What do we know about magnesium? Well, magnesium is the #1 mineral that 75% of Americans are deficient in. If you are a woman over 35, magnesium will help you rediscover balance, energy, and vitality. Magnesium supports more than 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including those involved in hormonal balance. From functional medicine doctors to mental well-being and female hormone experts, we all know that magnesium is the one mineral to improve all aspects of well-being and health. But which one? Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, the trusted choice recommended by leading experts with 7 best-absorbed forms of magnesium to ensure your body receives the support it needs for overall well-being. Go to bioptimizers.com/balance today and use code BALANCE10 for 10% off. Support your journey to wellness at bioptimizers.com/balance. Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, your foundation to optimal health and vitality.